Hello, this is the Radio Geek, and this is some more of my experiments with the MK484, and I've built a slightly different circuit on this perf board, and there's the antenna, and the battery is a D cell, which should last pretty much to the end of time. I didn't have a AA holder, so that's what I used. It's got a little on-off switch there. Got the tuning capacitor here, and then there are a couple of pots for adjustment, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And then we have the amplified speaker over here. So we'll just take a little spin and see what kind of things we can pick up here. So yeah, we'll just take a little spin down the dial here in just a second.
Second out in the inning, and Manny Pena coming up. Pena's had a good day. Couple of base hits. 3 for that matter. Double, driving, and a run back in the opening inning. Struck out in the third, then singled and scored in the fifth. I think they're in a much better spot than they were a year ago at this time. And looking at the series a little bit, I think it's going to live up to all the hype. I think it's going to be a phenomenal battle between the two best teams in the league, but I'd be surprised if the Warriors didn't come out on top. Yeah, I think the Warriors, first of all, never underestimate LeBron James. That's too low off the outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. What was that line from Get Smart? Mystified. Which one? Mystified. That much. He did. Not by much. Yeah, he was standing down along the first base line. Why me? Come on. 2 balls and a strike. Here it is. Strike on the outside corner. Comerica Bank, raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time to go to Comerica, Tigers Radio Network, Crest Lincoln. I want to thank you for listening this season, for your support of Michigan-based companies such as Crest Lincoln, headquartered in Sterling Heights. 9th inning, 7-3 White Sox. And the guy who's pitched now every day in this series, if not every game, Chris Beck on the mound. I call him everyday Chris. Part of the order for the Tigers, swinging the foul straight back. Tigers trail by 4, 7-3. Pitching change by your neighborhood Michigan Ford News. Go to MichiganFord.com. Does a good job, though. That's why they use him. 13 strikeouts, 16 2/3, 5 walks. Giving up 3 home runs. Well, give him a show, boys. Cabrera, Martinez, Matuk, and Upton. Strike 1, up and in. Did it clip him? Miguel reacted like it did, and he's trotting down to first. The catcher Narvaez caught it. Looked like it clipped his left bicep, maybe. Watch the replay. Nope, off the elbow. Get off the spot. Hardly hit. Just a glancing blow off that big spot. Nice catch by the catcher, Jimmy. There you go. See, I told you something. Narvaez just turned his thought he was going to get hit.
Yeah.
And it ended up in his glove. So, first man on.
Trip the very next day. From the cow to the cooler to your kitchen table, you just won't find a fresher, more delicious glass of milk than Nature's Touch, only from Quick Trip, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. See you next time.
Hello, it's Toyota's Toyota Time Sales Event. This is Jan.
So your sales event is on, right?
Yes, now's the perfect time to choose from low APR financing and great lease offers now through May 31st.
Accidents and injuries while increasing production and profit. Because business owners have enough to worry about without having to worry about workers' comp. Westband. The worst brings out our best. Visit thesilverlining.com. 620 WTMJ.
Hello, it's Radio Geek here, and I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with the MK484 chip. Actually, the one I've been using is the TA7642, which is pin for pin compatible to the MK484 and is more readily available than the MK484. They're very similar, not much difference between the two, but anyway, the main thing is I ran across this article about enhancing it and making it perform better, and this article is by Dan McGillis, WB3KBW, and I'll try to put links in the description so you guys can check them out yourself. But this person here was talking about how strong stations would overpower this little chip, and how it's very sensitive to the supply voltage that it gets and how it performs. Now this chip can run up to, I think it's close to about 2 volts, but really it's ideal to run it with just one cell battery, like a AA or a D or AAA, 1.5 volts. But in his article and description, he's saying that actually if you can get the supply voltage lower than that, it actually performs better. And what he says here is that he looked through various different data sheets for different information. He looked at the data sheet for the TA7642, didn't find much there. The MK484, not much there either. But then he looked at the original, which was the ZN414Z, and they don't make that chip anymore, but these are all pretty much the same chip, slightly different. And it says in there that the gain of the ZN414A is voltage sensitive, so that in strong signal areas, supply voltage will be needed to obtain the correct AGC action. Incorrect adjustment of the AGC causes a strong station to occupy a much wider bandwidth, causing the RF stage to saturate, swamping reduced AF output. So basically what he found was that if you can adjust the gain by adjusting the voltage, it performs better and more stable across a wider bandwidth. And he goes on to have a schematic of a circuit that he built, and this is the circuit that I built that was on that perf board with the 2 potentiometers on there. You've got this 500K pot here and a 10K pot over here. And those are the two pots that you saw hanging off my board. Now ideally they would probably be better just to be a board mounted pot with multi-turn, that you could really dial in what you wanted a lot easier. I was able to still dial in, and although it was a little touchier with just a regular pot, but it did seem to work better. So basically the steps to setting this up is step 1 is to set the AGC voltage at point B to 0 volts using this pot here, pot B. So that is the equivalent, if you set this to 0 volts, of basically you have no signal. Step 2 is to adjust the supply voltage at point A, which is this pot here, to a precise value like 1.05 volts using pot A. And then it says, step 3, now increase the AGC, this would be this pot here, pot B, voltage to about 0.8 or 0.9, and start tuning the band and see what you get. So basically his notes here say that if you are trying to get a weak signal, set it for 0.9 volts on point B, or about 0.6 volts for a stronger signal. And I set it for about 0.9, and it seemed to improve things as far as it will go anyway. Now the MK484 and the TA7642 have exactly the same pinout. However, if you happen to have an older ZN414Z, the pinout is not the same. It's actually the output and ground are on the outer ends and the inputs in the middle like the other one, but the out and ground are swapped. But I doubt you're going to find one of these old ones. You might, but the MK484 and the TA7642, those are pretty readily available, and that's what I have some extras of, the TA7642. You can find those on eBay. And then basically he has on here, if I can turn the page here, he's got what his experiments, what he found was that if you have, let me just refer back to here, he's talking about this voltage here, that basically the supply voltage going to pin 3, that's point A here. He says here that if you have 0.9 volts, it says too sensitive, tends towards instability, pot B adjustment is touchy. At 0.95, excellent sensitivity across the whole band, pot B not touchy. 1 volt, excellent sensitivity and selectivity across the whole band. 1.05, selectivity somewhat degraded at higher end of band. And 1.1 volt, poor selectivity, lower sensitivity at higher end. Okay, in the mid to low end. So you can see from 0.9 to 1.1 volts, there's that much difference. So with that adjustment, and as your battery voltage drops after usage, you'd have to, you know, check these, adjust these before you start using it. But that's quite a difference in performance just on the voltage at the supply there. So that was kind of interesting. So he's basically saying that if you get like a 0.95 volts there, then it seems to perform rather well, and it does. I was able to pick up 3 or 4 Chicago stations, one in Wisconsin and another one in Kalamazoo, out on the deck, and I'll have a video for that to follow here. But so yeah, this is got a lot of good information, and there's a nice big long thread on this on the internet where people are discussing it and giving other ideas and suggestions. He also has a really nice headphone amplifier circuit, which I did not build. I just hooked mine up to the little Radio Shack mini amplified speaker, and that seems to work pretty good. Although this might be a good thing to do for a little headphone amplifier. Also, you could use the LM386 chip, the audio chip, and that and a few other components, and you can have a little audio circuit driving a speaker. So lots of fun things to do. I'm still going to build up the kit on the circuit board, and I have yet to build the preamplifier as well. So I've got that yet to do. But just thought I'd let you guys know that there's a lot of information out here on these, and it's a lot of fun to play with. Now, I never did quite understand or figure out when I originally was playing around with that on the breadboard, when I had the provided variable capacitor, which was like, I think maybe 6 picofarads up to 140 picofarads. I just didn't seem to get anything, but when I hooked up that 385 picofarad variable cap, I think it is, it might be a little higher than that, maybe 400. Yeah, and I was able to pick up all kinds of things with that, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. I'm going to find out when I build the kit. I'll try it with the provided variable cap, and if that doesn't work, I'll hook up the other one. But anyway, just thought I'd show that to you guys. Like I say, I'm going to try to provide some links to this and some other notes and threads. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of experimenting and trial and error type stuff. It's pretty neat stuff. So until next time, this is the Radio Geek.